This is George Dionne of the Rock is George podcast, and this is a KNAC.com exclusive interview with vocalist Andi Deris of the German power metal act Helloween. So today we're talking about the latest Helloween album, which is Giants and Monsters. It comes out on August 29th through Reigning Phoenix Music. Helloween's been an entity for over 40 years, 17 studio albums. You could easily rest on your back catalog and ride out the nostalgia circuit. What inspires you and the group to keep making new music?
Oh, funnily, just grabbed it. I always grab my guitar. It's my biggest hobby, so yeah. What can I say? I started out as a guitarist because I wanted to write songs. So I was never interested in soloing or something like that. But yeah, for whatever reason, I loved rhythm guitar, and that was the right decision. It gave me automatically you get these ideas in your head popping up. You could sing this over it. You could sing that over it. Just try and record it. How does it sound? Back in the days, you have to imagine I got these two tape decks like the real little cassette players, So you had to actually record from one to the other, and I recorded myself doing that. So I recorded back and forth, and I still remember it was a lot of noise going on, like. But at the end of the day, you had your song going, with a little. Back in the days, there was this Revolution. It was a little drum pad from Roland, the 808. And that's where you programmed your drums on. It's like, I mean, horrible sounding, but hey, it did the job, And I never lost that. I loved this, recording my own shit, my ideas, listening to them and find out I personally like it. And I just hope other people will not puke. But yeah, the majority of my friends back in the days, they were hooked. I mean, wow, hey, how did you do that? And I just told them, well, my dad was buying me some super cheap tape recorders, like the really small ones with a built-in speaker. You probably you remember.
Yes.
Hey, and it worked. So I'm always thinking about that when I go down to the studio, because now when you enter a big studio and you compare it with your beginnings, I always have these two tape recorders in front of my eyes.
Now, Helloween has expanded to 7 members. How does the songwriting get done with so many people involved?
Well, you have to actually hit the brake here. I mean, we realized when we were all in the rehearsal room, all 7 of us. I mean, this is a complete disaster. You should just pull the plug and call it a day, because it doesn't work. It's like too many cooks and, too many ideas. At the end of the day, you see yourself ending in endless discussions again, and you're losing so much time. I'm not talking that it's like a negative blah, blah, blah shit, but you're losing a lot of time because, and also 7 people, there's always one guy who is not really into being creative now. He'd rather go out and drink or whatever. So pull the plug, call it a day. Everybody should get back home actually, and first try to collect some ideas. It doesn't necessarily need to be a finished song, but give the band something to bite on. So ideas, and thanks to the technique, we all use Dropbox. So in the very moment I recorded my idea, I just put it up on the Dropbox, give everybody an email, give everybody a shout, hey, if you're in the mood, listen to it. If you got anything to say to it, please add and let me listen to it. And hey, it works like that. So half a song is probably done by that. So you could easily realize, okay, this and that idea could become a great song. And this is then the time when you meet up as a band, when you really got something to say. It's like, yeah.
Now you have 3 vocalists in the band. So how do you determine whose part is which part? Or is that something that the producers, Charlie Bauerfiend and Dennis Ward, figure out?
Yeah, I mean, we did that one on the previous album, the Helloween album, the self-titled album. We actually sat down with the producers, with the lyric sheets in front of us, and went through everything. And this could be Michael, this could be Andy, blah, blah, blah. And again, it was like losing time, so much time, just discussing. As at the end of the day, Michael and I said, look, I mean, you're talking to musicians. We are singers. Just, I mean, let us do our job. So this time we just went in there, and Michael was singing 2 hours recording his stuff. I was singing 2 hours recording my stuff. At the end of the day, both of us sang through the whole album, period. And then we just decided to tell the guys, the producer Charlie and Dennis, look, guys, I mean, you cut the shit out of yourself, do whatever you want, arrange it the way you like it. And every evening we come back to the studio and then we have a talk about it. So Michael and I were mostly going down to my beach here, having a good day after the long work of recording, and let the producer do their job. And I think they did a fabulous job. I mean, at least 90% we completely sanctioned. So it was really great what they did. Yeah, it spared a lot of time and it was fun singing. I mean, you just don't see yourself again in these endless discussions, which I always hated in bands, because somebody always wanted to discuss about an idea and said, well, let's discuss about an idea. We are good enough to actually just play it, play the idea, try it out, let us listen to it, and then we could say we love it or we hate it. But discussing if it's good or bad, I mean, that's a catch-22 in itself, I think. I'm never understood that one. Yeah.
Understandable. You have a single out ahead of the album's release. It's called This Is Tokyo. From what I understand, a personal song for you. You kind of cut your chops in Tokyo with one of your first bands, Pink Cream 69. If you want to tell me a little more about that song.
Well, actually, as you mentioned, it's definitely about Japan. Tokyo is like the substitute for Japan, kind of. So it's hard to sing "This is Japan." So it sounds a bit, I don't know, awkward, strange. Anyways, "This is Tokyo" was a long planned song, so to say. I just waited for the final initial idea to make it happen and say thank you to Japan finally, because they back in the days definitely have been the guys who, well, kicked the snowball, which became a big success everywhere. Then it started in Japan, it went to Europe, and we're actually on the brink to go to the US when shit hit the fan and the band split up.
It always seems to be the way, right?
Yeah, it's nothing new. It's cliche actually. So unfortunately, bands very often split up in this unholy seventh year.
Well, Tokyo is important to Helloween as well. You guys released an album not too long ago, live at Buudacon. Must have been a fantastic show for you personally.
Yeah, personally, definitely, because I do remember back in the days when I had the first show in Tokyo, in Yokohama, which is not actually Tokyo, but on the other hand, there's not even a house in between Tokyo and Yokohama. So for me, it's Tokyo. Anyway, we played there. That was my first show, Club Cheetah, it was called. So like 2,000 people in there, beautiful club, great backstage. I do remember. The funny thing is, when you are used to a European crowd, you are not used to people who suddenly completely fall silence whenever you close to the microphone, whenever you close yourself, and whenever you take the microphone, suddenly there was absolute quietness. I mean, silence. And I was like, did I something wrong? I mean, shit, what did I do? You know, and until I finally realized, okay, it's the way it is. It's the respect they want to give you because they see you want to say something, and then they completely shut up. I mean, which is it's scary for a rock or metal band, you know, because you actually want the people to go ape shit and shit. Suddenly, it's like, everybody's looking at you like completely silent. Yeah. I love that. I love Japan, I have to say. This is like the black and white country I've seen in all over the world, and I've seen like some 50 countries, but more black and white than Japan, I could not imagine. All these mega high-tech cities, and as soon as you go out into the countryside, it's countryside, pure countryside. I mean, you guys have it in certain parts of US America. So if I leave New York City, for example, and go to the countryside, it's definitely black and white. But still, I have the feeling in Japan it's even more black or more white. So the contrasts and the contrary could not be more than there. At least I haven't seen it. Might be. It's like Indonesia's has, for example, or it used to be Indonesia. It's Singapore. Singapore is probably something in that vibe, because when you leave Singapore, you're in the middle of the jungle and you suddenly only see like bamboo huts and stuff like that. Okay, that's very, very polarizing as well.
Right.
But yeah, nevertheless, for me, back in the days, Japan was that number one polarizing thing, because I didn't know other places. But yeah, it's a place to be for at least 2 weeks, having the most fantastic holidays in my life, seeing all these old temples which are still preserved, like Kyoto, for example, above Osaka. I mean, I would tell everybody, go there once in your lifetime, because it's another thing. It's like it opens your, at least my horizon,
Right.
coming from little small German village next to the River Rhine. For me, it was like a culture shock, definitely.
Another song that you wrote on Giants and Monsters is a little too much. About a experience you had as a young man. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that one?
Haven't we all? It was actually, I had this, a little is a little too much. I had the plan to write about something like that famous drop too much and everything is pulling over and shit like that, which at the end of the day would end up in a very dystopian kind of lyrics. And I thought, okay, that would not fit the song. The song is actually happy, happy. It's something like party, party. So I had to come up with a synonym actually to make people smile, or at least not name it. It's never mentioned, but I think people who go through the lyrics know exactly what it's all about. It's that little AC/DC, a touch too much kind of thing, you know. So yeah, I'm happy actually that I didn't end up with the dystopian lyrics. It would not fit the song, definitely not. But girls look at it like, what is he talking about? Unless you give them a hint. And my girlfriends and my wife, I mean friends, no, don't misunderstand it. They all went like, ah. And all my boys, they were having a good laugh and say, yeah, I remember these days. I do remember back in the days it was a struggle, always not to be too early in the game.
And then when you get older, you're not fast enough, right?
Well, that's not my problem anymore, put it that way. I'm actually very relaxed when it comes to that object. So, or subject. Object too.
There's a ballad on Giants and Monsters, Into the Sun. That's a duet between you and Michael. That started off as a different kind of song too, and you changed the lyrics on that one. If you want to tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, Into the Sun, we actually originally recorded for the last album, but the producer team had this fabulous idea, which could have worked out nicely, but it didn't. This fabulous idea to transpose 5 semitones. The argument was it would be much easier for the people to sing along, because it's high pitch, nobody could sing along, blah, blah, blah. My argument was, look, I mean, we have a #1 hit ballad that's called Forever and One, and it's also high pitched. And when you listen to it, all the people sing along, and it's still there, all the melody. I mean, somehow they manage it down there. So yeah, but we tried it nevertheless. And at the end of the day, it was still a great song. The recording I like, but it's not Helloween. It could be Adele or Bon Jovi or whatever. Yeah, great for them, but not for us. It's too far away from that typical Helloween ballad thing. I think there was like on the Keeper albums was a tale that wasn't right, high pitch, success. On the Time of the Oath, we had Forever and One, high pitch, success. So why would I change that formula, I would say? I mean, I think now it sounds brilliant in the original pitch, in mixed together with Michael. I love it. It's exactly the way I heard it when I wrote it, what I would like to hear, actually, I do hear now. So that means you should actually never give in. Take your style and go for it, and don't look left and right, and just do what you feel is right. don't listen to arguments if you feel bad, if you feel something different. I mean, trust your feeling.
Now, last year I interviewed Michael and I asked him if somebody didn't know what Helloween sounded like, how would he describe it? And I think most of the press and most fans would call you power metal,
Mm.
but Michael said punk rock. And now I hear Helloween in a different light. When I listen to the older material and some of the newer material, I'm like, yeah, it's punk rock in the sense that they're not, they don't, you don't really do traditional metal. You have your own stamp
Yeah,
on it.
yeah, you could say that. I know there's some punky shit in there. It's like also very lots of rock and roll parts. Um, in between this super complicated double bass battle that's going down there. Yeah, I could see why he's saying that, because if you just would actually take the song idea and replace these double drums with a normal beat, dirty drum set, then you could have some punk going on there. That's not wrong. Even though I do think that the only guy who thought about punk when it comes to writing a Helloween song is Marcus, our bass player. That's still a punk head and rock and roller. So yeah, Vaiki, one of the main songwriters, also back in the days. I'd rather say he is more into combining rock and roll, punk, metal with classic stuff. So I know his main classic guy, which he loves forever since I know him actually, is Haydn. And Haydn, he's always saying Haydn is the metalhead of these back in the days classic ages. If that guy would have had a drum kit and some guitars, he definitely would have made some speed metal the way Wyke writes it. So you see, there's like everything in the band. Maybe that makes it that sound. A little bit of punk, bit of rock and roll, power metal, classic, speed. That combined is probably the Helloween world.
How did
Probably.
how did you guys settle on the album's name, Giants and Monsters? There's no song, Giants and Monsters. I mean, you got that first song, Giants on the Run, but maybe that's a reference to it.
Yeah, well, it's actually based on the lyrics of Giants on the Run, because we are quite aware that we all feel much better and much bigger inside ourselves, but we are all kind of, yeah, hold down. We're not allowed to be more successful or bigger in thinking, in being, in even in what we're saying. So education is some monster in my eyes. Um, your parents, my parents are educated in a certain way, and so they give it on to us. And again, we are caught in that educational system. Every nation has a bit of a different, but still they meet in a ballpark at the end of the day, which most of the people are not allowed to grow out of themselves, to actually express themselves. In our world, it's more or less, depending where you are, but in the Western world, we're definitely on that very way, how life has to be led. And I'm not quite sure that we could not be much bigger, you, me, everybody, but we're not allowed to, simply because the system tells you not to go that direction or this. So that's the giants we could be. There's a reference even in the Bible where they say there were giants wandering on earth back in the days. And lots of people I talk with say, yeah, it's extraterrestrials. They built the pyramids, blah, blah, blah. So no, that's probably not true. Probably the giants, that's us. But we are having this amnesia and don't know exactly how it used to be a giant. Maybe there were catastrophes, a meteorite hitting on Earth or whatever, and wiped out whole civilizations. And back in the days, we knew a much better way, or not. But nevertheless, there's this chance that we could follow our inner feeling, that we want to do more with our lives. We want to be more. I'm not talking about hitting each other in the face and rubbing ourselves. I'm not talking about that shit. I mean, like really be big in ourselves, helping each other as well and grow as a society. But as we all know, these little monsters are in our heads telling us, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. or even the real monsters leading you to the falls where you're like, ah, you could do this, then you would have, let's say, much more money. Or and you go like, no, shut up, I don't want. Yeah, but you know, you have like you wouldn't have any worries anymore in the future, and you go, now shut up, and all these monsters or outside people you meet who are like really assholes and really are these monsters you have to fight. I mean, in every company I met these people back in the day when I had to work hard for each and every Deutschmark back in the days. So they were in front of you and they did everything that you stayed under them. Everything, you know, and all these real monsters out there. That's why I came up actually with the idea of Giants and Monsters, Giants on the Run. And then, yeah, I remember we had a Kai Hansen song on the list, which was called Monsters as well. Exactly. And then we thought, okay, then we have the Giants on the Run, and there's a Monsters. Let's do the Giants and Monsters. But as life plays, at the end of the day, it did not fit into the running order because we're still an album, or consider us ourselves as an album band, where there are like 50-60% of our fans and followers old farts than we are. And I've personally loved to listen to a whole album. And so the mixture is still very important for us. So yeah, there you go. I'm talking too much, I know.
All right. This is your second album as the expanded Helloween band with guitarist Kai Hansen and Michael Kiske returning in 2016. You joined Helloween after they departed in 89 and 93. Were you a little apprehensive when you were told they were coming back into the band and you're like, you're technically the new guy?
Yeah, well, I always will be the new guy. But the good thing is we have now some new old guys. No, honestly, after the first meeting we had and discussed the whole thing with Michael and Kai, if what would they think? Kai was pretty clear. He was supporting us for two tours already, so it was always great when he at the end of our show he shoe up and played some Future World, and I went out with us. So and the people loved it. So that was quite clear that Kai would nicely fit when he comes back to the band. Michael was a bit of a question mark because Michael was really pissed off. So I think the initial moment was when we played a festival and Michael was there with the solo band. And Waiki and Michael finally met backstage. That was the initial moment because Waiki just went to him, looked him in the eyes, and said, I was young and stupid. I'm so sorry. And then they talked. And then I knew, okay, it could work out.
Excellent.
Yeah, could have been played in another direction.
That is true.
Yeah.
Helloween is going to be celebrating their 40th anniversary with a tour starting this fall in Europe. How does one decide what music to play on a 40 years of music bill?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. That's that's always a big question mark. We asked for the help of our fans, which they did. They came up with a big list of songs they wanted to hear. Um, we asked them to also include songs that they would like to hear that we never played or only played like 20 or 30 years ago or something like that. They did a good job. So yeah, basically that's where we choose the songs out of the top 40 of the fans list. Um, Quite a challenge here and there, I have to say, but we promised. So it's 4 decades of metal we have to cover. I think we're going to do that. I think it's possible. It's a lot to do. Boys are already in the rehearsal room. Michael Kiske and I are forbidden to come. We don't want any singers around for understandable reasons, because when we start to sing over the not perfect music, it's very hard for them to realize who plays wrong here and there. So it's good to not be there. I think I'm gonna go there in end of August and then then everything should musically be prepared. And then then you have to change little things and arrange for the live show. Certainly, I mean, there's like lots of bits and pieces still to do, which you need the singers for, certainly.
Obviously, there's plans beyond Europe for this 40th anniversary tour.
Yeah, I mean, after Europe, in December or end of November, I think we start to go to Indonesia, Malaysia, and Korea, Taiwan, I think. Then we do a big Christmas break, holidays, and then I think we see ourselves in US, in the US. Yes. Australia is on the TBA, I've seen, and I think, but I could imagine we go to US America, maybe Canada, maybe go from there directly to Japan, because that's on the one around, all around the world ticket that would make it financially very attractive. And yeah, and then go dive into the summer festivals, which takes us into end of August, beginning of September. And then probably Australia, I think. So if not Europe part 2, because we always start with Europe and end with Europe. I cannot tell you exactly when Europe part 2 is. I would reckon end of next year.
Okay. So even though Helloween is this touring juggernaut, you said that you're always writing and coming up with ideas. Do you work on any other projects in your downtime from Helloween? I know you've had solo albums in the past and other side projects in the past.
Yeah, there's always a band in the studio here and there. So when I don't need the studio, my son is free to rent it out, so to say. He's also producing, and yeah, a lot of fun for him, and some extra bucks in his pocket. I'm happy to see that, because he's also constantly on tour as a tour manager. So he wants to break down a little bit and make it a habit to go on tour for 6 months and 6 months at home in the studio, and also trying to write his own stuff. I can totally understand, and I fully agree. I mean, if he doesn't commit now at the age of 33, in 10 years it'll probably be too late, and he's got a kid or a wife, and then you have to say goodbye to everything anyways. So I just hope he doesn't go that direction. But you always need the right wife. Otherwise, it's doomed. If you have the wrong wife, 90% of my fellow musicians quit music. Sad story.
It's fair enough there.
Yeah, hey, that's my experience. Maybe other people have other, but that's the point I look at it. That's my point of view. And I have to say, I've seen the most talented musicians. I know they would have become world stars, but they gave it up because wifey didn't like it. So there you go.
Well, Andy, those are all the questions I have for you today. The new Helloween album is Giants and Monsters. It comes out August 29th. Fantastic album. I can't praise it enough, and I wish you the best of luck with it. And I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me more about it today.
Thank you very much. My apologies again for being late.
Not a problem. I'll see you when you guys hit the US soon.